what it is. It's the core driving thing for me. Somehow it's always going toward music, and I'm sure it's because I was encouraged and constantly getting positive feedback, whatever little dinky thing I did. Northwestern University, and that was a terrific choice for me. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but we had a choral director in my little town of 3,000 people or so, and when it came time to finish up high school, he suggested Northwestern after giving it some thought, because it had a reputable, very reputable music school. It's very near a major city, of course. I majored in music. I got a degree in vocal performance, but the why was all the stuff I've said from the beginning. You know, it's just what makes me tick. So that was an incredible treat. I just thought I'd died and gone to heaven. They're just surrounded by music and musical experts, and everybody wanted you to succeed. And was inspired by the constant feedback of people I admired who were in music. And I'm not talking about famous people, teachers and so forth. I just had an affinity. We had something going there. It was never discussed. It's just that I sensed on some subliminal level an affinity there. The most prominent memory is when my pants split open. I was singing, and it was in Hanover, and I was doing Das Rheingold. I opened the opera, or my part of the opera, perched up on a high table with one leg on the floor and the other on a stool like this. So my rear end is up here somewhere, but the stress on the pants would have been nothing. I mean, we've been rehearsing for weeks. The minute I did this, and this is seconds before the curtain goes up, literally seconds, rip, and I felt a cool breeze coming right through. And there were moments that are just extremely thrilling within a performance, where you just sort of, everything is working and you're singing and you don't know how you're singing, because you don't know, not the quality, the function, because everything is so well coordinated. When that happens, which is not routine, then that's a special sensation, I have to say. We were doing some gorgeous, gorgeous lieder by Robert Schumann, and I closed with a wonderful song called Mein schöner Stern, and it's about a star, my beautiful star, and it's a love song. And it's just this long line, very lyrical. And when I finished with that, after singing on stage with the pianist for an hour and a half, I guess, it was such a wonderful feeling of closure, and I loved the song, and I loved the emotions expressed and the way I felt, and that's always been a very strong memory. It was a new experience in programming for me too. First thing I thought, whoa, and then when I got to speak with her a little bit, we had all of these other things. She was soft-spoken, gentle, very intelligent, compassionate, all these wonderful qualities that are so much more important, of course. She was in Russia, at that moment she wasn't in Russia, she was in somewhere else, but it was the same tour with ballet theater. I was in the Army in Washington, but gradually over this period of time, we had gotten to know each other very well, and we were quite serious. And so I sent her a telegram. I said, what is your attitude, which in ballet is, I think it's a pose or a posture or something, toward or to a pas de deux. And we all know that, for two people. And she knew exactly what I meant, and I knew what I meant. And so that was how I proposed, by a telegram, and got a positive response. And here we are 50-something years later. I won't go on and on about our wonderful marriage, but I could. Making a living in the arts is hard, and unless you are willing to just sort of chuck caution to the winds in some cases. Not all, but don't knock yourself out doing it. You can still enjoy it a lot in ways that do not impinge upon your livelihood. But there's nothing better if it all works for you either.
Songs of the rude world heard in the day, lulled by the moonlight, have all passed away. Beautiful dreamer, queen of my song,